Hey guys, before we get started, I want to tell you about a Black Friday deal that I'm doing. Right now, you can get 25% off coaching with Colonel Treyardis through the 10-week journal-based coaching program. Colonel Treyardis was on the podcast a few times here before, the live event with him as well. Super awesome, experienced individual. And so if you're looking to move the needle when it comes to your home life, dad, as a husband, your work, being a leader in the church, your overall health, in just a lot of different areas, he is an awesome guy to work with. And so if you're interested in that deal is available until Saturday night, November 29th, and you can just reach out to me directly and I'll set things up. Anyways, with that, enjoy today's episode. Goede bekomst.
What?
Wat zegt hij?
Goede bekomst.
What'd you say?
Goede bekomst. That's what you say after a meal.
It was good. It was good. I love Dutch. Klein beetje Hollands praten.
Was it Dutch?
Yeah. Do you speak fluent Dutch, Ka?
Mm-hmm.
How come you don't talk Dutch more often?
Who am I going to talk Dutch with?
Oh,
Wait a
just
minute.
talk it to me. Just say it to me.
You speak Dutch fluently?
Yeah.
Like you can carry a conversation?
That's what fluently means, yeah.
Is this part of the podcast?
Welcome back to another episode of the Briefcase The Barn, a series of the Furious, the Curious show where we talk about business, life, Christianity, and more. Episode 71, Matt's back. We didn't get feedback on the first one yet because it hasn't been published yet.
No, that's right. I got my wife's feedback.
What was that?
She thought it was all right. She's very angry with Gary.
Yeah, well,
About?
it's pretty easy to be angry with me.
About?
Just, I think for a while we were talking about conscription,
Feminist.
feminism or something. Gary crossed a line for Fiona, I think. They called her a bra burner.
Normally I say bra burning witch. Did I leave the witch
Yes,
off the end
you
at
did.
least? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
you did.
kind.
Nah, she was fine. She thought it was fine.
She's a feminist or not?
No.
She's not.
Well, like she's an egalitarian.
Okay.
What's that in English?
It means like that equality across the board, not one over the other.
Okay.
It's more used in theological terms. You made it sound as if it was just a statement for the masses, but it'd be more in
really?
areas of ministry and maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Do you get a regular person knows what egalitarian means?
We would be complementarian.
I like complimenting people.
I think,
that would be the positive. That would be the way to describe it, just like he described his stance. So
I don't know.
we don't need to get into these weeds. Not this early.
I'm a Newfoundlander.
You want to correct your mistake you made last week on the ostrich call?
Yeah, actually, that's a good way to start. That ostrich call thing, like, so I've been following the news around it, but I was talking to someone who works for the RCMP, and all they said was there's a lot that isn't being published that you don't know about.
Which is always the case.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, so I told them what I said on the podcast.
And they said, you need
and
to
they
shut
said,
your pile.
yeah, you don't have the full story. And I said, well, what is it? And he was just like, it's not my place to say, but that's not all of it. So, I mean, it's so frustrating, right? Because,
that must make you feel really crappy.
what'd they say?
Because you really thrive on being fired up.
And being right.
Because I said
And being right.
Yeah, like I said that with conviction. I mean, I could still be right, but I mean,
You
doesn't
say
look like
everything.
it.
You say everything with conviction.
Yeah,
What's $1 million or something like that they got given to to buy the birds out?
I'm not sure. I don't even know if that kind of stuff has been published or publicized. Yeah, so I can't say what's not
Well, I can assure you guys, as someone that deals with people that have birds that get not killed all the time, there is money being compensated from CFIA for birds being killed. I don't know what an ostrich is
there
worth.
You go. So
but there would have been some check written.
Yeah, I mean, still, I still hate the idea that
You hate government overreach.
I don't like government overreach.
Okay.
I can respect government. I just don't like when government has too much authority and power to do what they please without any checks or balances.
Well, it's no different than anything. Anytime you have a bunch of human beings that are going to have input on someone else's life, humans are going to do the wrong thing, right? So there's
I heard a saying one time that government has never handed back power.
Ever?
Ever.
It always has to be
I
taken
don't know
back.
if it's true. I've
has
heard
to be taken back.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyway.
It's hard for me to give up power too.
Yeah.
The feedback I got was that they really Kyle spoke less, so they like that part. No, they just said it was more conversational.
Is that right?
Kyle, less preaching than when.
Makes sense.
I heard
Makes
a lot
sense.
of people say, like probably hundreds, say that they would like more preaching.
Okay. It's not coming from me, so you can start right now if you'd like.
No,
Okay, we're gonna get to read some feedback here.
Legitimate feedback.
Legitimate feedback from listeners on episode 69, a couple episodes ago. This is great. This is a great episode. This is the episode we talked about the porn thing.
Talk about the porn thing every podcast, don't we?
Well, this is the one where my kids seen it on Pinterest when they were with Nicole.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We got feedback from that. So I'm sorry your kids were exposed to that image. Keep them off of it if you can. It's hard to. Couldn't keep my kids off of it. My oldest child who has transgender trouble got into all kinds of online shit, and it was through Pinterest. Nobody thinks of Pinterest as a problem, but it's a gateway. She is.
What's Pinterest?
Anyway,
Pablo's dog. Mute. Yeah, thank you.
What's Pinterest?
I'll finish this comment first.
Oh, okay.
Matt really sucks at listening. And found art groups on Pinterest and had furries and gay imagery. She met a guy on the chat groups who was 6 years older than her, and she was barely a teenager. And yeah, so he goes on a little bit with that part. And it was through Pinterest, though, which is a very innocent site. You would think, if your kid's on Pinterest doing art stuff, you're like, oh, that's fine.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that like people put up photos of their work or crafts? And,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've
Home
seen
decor, all kinds of stuff. You have your own board.
that. And now it's a porn. They got a porn site now?
Well,
No,
everything
it
turns into that.
It
right?
goes to that stuff. That's how they got into it. So they let their kid go on there.
There's probably
innocent and
clickable
stuff like
links that are
and the
fine,
links
and
that
then the
go
links
to-
take you to horrible
That's
places.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
The internet's a crazy place, eh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that for sure is true.
Another feedback on that same episode. Just wanted to share a suggestion in regards to porn abuse, keeping your children safe. My husband and I are almost finished a 9-week series our church hosted called Into the Light. Highly recommended. I believe this video content is free, and you just have to buy the workbook if you choose to do it with others. We loved it and learned a lot. Ironically, tonight's session is about how to talk to your children when, not if, they are exposed to porn. Looking forward to it. I wanted to share. So
We spoke to our kids real early about it.
Okay.
I think by the time Samuel was 10, we were having conversations with like appropriate, images and sexuality, and we opened up the conversation real quick.
yeah, so we had a couple episodes ago. I shared that Nicole was on Pinterest with Malachi and Peter, and Peter's 4 and Malachi's 8, and she clicked an image, clicked a thing, and it brought, and so the boy seen it when she was there, and so it had to have the conversation
That
already.
sucks, right?
It's wild.
And then we got
And
one
you
more.
can't protect. I don't think you can protect them. Like you can protect them, but I don't think you can do. I don't think you can completely keep them in a
educate 'em.
bubble. Eventually, yeah.
Educate them on what to do. when they
Eventually,
come
they're
up.
going to break through it. They're going to see it. It's sad, right? It's a gross world.
Yeah. And then the most important listener of this podcast, or second most important, Nicole will be most important, Marie, gave some feedback. She said, Gary says he's only a 4 out of 10 honest on the podcast. I don't think that's true. I think he just shares only 40% of his opinion and holds back the other 60%.
Ah,
Be fair.
that's fair.
That's fair.
Well, you don't want to share everything.
Definitely not everything.
I mean, I don't want people to know everything about me.
No. You don't want to know what Gary was doing before he got here when he's downstairs.
Oh man. Are we gonna play? Are you gonna insert that clip?
Oh,
Yeah,
that
let's
we
do
played
it. Play it right now.
my
Should we
goodness.
play it right now? Yeah.
There's a clip Gary wants to play about
I just want
white cisgender males.
anyone who knows me personally, just because I'm on this podcast, it doesn't mean I endorse what Gary.
Straight man, which friggin'
Hey,
rocks.
hey, hold on. I'll start it again.
Seriously, it's just gonna be inappropriate.
I'm a cisgender straight man, which friggin' rocks. It's sick. I don't know if you know this about my identity. There are perks. There's perks. Like one thing I've noticed is a lot of women and queer folks tend to have these very specific dietary restrictions. You know what I mean? Celiac, lactose intolerance, oil sensitivities. Cis straight guys, we don't have those. We don't have those. It's incredible what our bodies are capable of. We don't, and it's like instead we'll have years, decades of unexplained diarrhea, but that's probably nothing. That's probably nothing, and also shut up. That's an unspoken part of straight guy culture. I don't know if you know, but like straight guys all over the world on a regular basis are going into bathrooms and just having an absolute nightmare of a time. Just fighting for our lives in there. And then we come out, shut the door behind us, we're like, nothing is wrong with me. I mean, even now, some of you are laughing and some of you are actively holding in a shit. And
So,
my dad would not laugh at that.
No, would he not think that was appropriate?
no,
I think he'd just be like, "Oh my goodness,
How childish can you be?
how childish."
he'd be holding it in.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know
I'm
about
just
that
telling you, it's a
either.
real issue.
Nice.
This is a tuna poke bowl with 6 cups of black coffee.
It does it, eh?
That's what did it for me.
No, I don't think so.
Moving on to some of the notes we have on the podcast here.
Get out of the
Poker
potty.
nights.
What?
Poker nights. Gary put in poker nights.
Oh yeah, it was super interesting. I had
I can't play poker anymore, man.
no
No.
because it's gambling. Or 'cause-
Compulsive. I was a compulsive gambler.
okay.
You and Gary both.
Yeah, me too.
I just can't. I mean, I think the last time
Not even for fun, for nothing. Just like
I was at a summer camp there a little while ago, and the kids, teenagers, were sitting around a table, and they were like, "We need another player." So I sat down, and they were just playing with just plastic
For
chips.
fun.
There wasn't even any change behind it, and I had a couple of games with them. And when I left, my first response was to start watching poker online, and I was like,
Okay,
"No,
you and I are
forget it."
kindred spirits after all.
Forget
I knew there was something that drew me towards being friends with
Oh,
you.
it's
It's because
brutal.
we both love gambling.
If it wasn't for Jesus, I'd be dead, right? Like,
No, that's fair.
My
Me too.
testimony on your podcast, but yeah, I just
I think all
can't.
three of us would be.
I
dead.
can't feel.
Yeah.
I can't feel freedom playing games that I associate with gambling.
Okay. Do you
just
think
can't
it's
get past
wrong
it.
to play for money in any way then? Too legalistic.
I think there's a-
Too
I think-
long
legalistic?
hesitation.
Yeah,
I
that was
think
a
there's
big
a- I
one.
think
That's
there's
how
a
I
lot
pause
of-
when you ask me questions.
I think there's a lot of negativity around gambling.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So
Gambling is a tax on the poor.
yeah, or worse,
general.
or
It's-
worse.
it's-
A blatant exploitation of the poor.
It is everywhere nowadays.
It is
like with
everywhere.
sports. And stuff
Sports
like that.
betting
Like,
drives me insane.
it is crazy.
I guess I've always looked at poker as more. I mean, obviously somebody's losing the money, and obviously you're playing for money. So that's why I asked you if you have a problem with actually people playing games for money.
No, you can do whatever you want. I don't
Well,
care.
no, I mean, I'm not.
do
I'm
whatever
more
you
moral.
want.
You can't do it.
you can if you want. It's up to you. Like, stay out of
should
my
you?
backyard. I don't care.
Should you?
Should you? No, that's different.
Well,
That's
that's what
the
I was
question.
asking.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the question. Mostly because, whatever. You got to be careful giving a legalistic answer on it. I just feel like, anyways, we were playing poker
Mhm.
for a small amount of money because poker's pretty hard to play a meaningful game of poker with people if there's not some money behind it. And if you've never played poker, you wouldn't even understand that.
Yeah.
But if you have played poker, so we were playing with these young guys, a bunch of like early 20s, and it was just fascinating hearing their they stayed till 1 a.m. or something. We got in this, which we don't normally stay up that late anymore, but it was just interesting hearing their perspective on dating, and some of them are dating and some of them aren't, and just hearing them talk about how they view like what a wife's gonna be, and like Marie's standing there, we're both just standing there scratching our head, and I'm going on my typical rants, like at one point standing up on the table yelling about
How old are you
hard
now?
marriages.
How old are you now? You're
42.
42.
Standing on the table, talking
Yelling about how hard
preaching.
marriage is, right? Preaching, right? And
We're old now, man.
No. I just had lunch with a 72-year-old guy who's a realtor, and he's like,
Well,
just in the
compared,
prime of your
compared to
career.
an elderly person, you're not old, but compared to a
20-year-olds
20-year-old,
look at me as an old man, and I still
Yeah.
think I'm one of them, and it's just embarrassing.
It is. Like, we
Everybody's
are
mortified.
old.
What were some of their ideas on marriage that were totally whacked?
Well, they just have such a unique, and there again, I'd be curious. I think everybody would land somewhere on the spectrum of this, but like they have this idea of like meeting this woman who's going to meet all their needs, and they're going to be so happy and always feel a certain way about her. I'm like, you're on
Well,
glue, man.
that's what happened to me.
Is that how you feel?
That's exactly
yeah,
what
because she
happened to
tells
me.
you to.
Yeah. I met the woman of my dreams. She's met all my needs.
Yeah,
She's absolutely perfect
yeah,
all the time.
yeah. Well, obviously, you don't need a woman who has a bra.
Except
so
for when
good
she's
you.
not. Except for when she's not perfect all the time. And then she's just like,
Horrible.
like
I think it. I think
For
if
those of you that are listening, Kyle, Matt is slamming his hand against his forehead.
if you actually
she
knew
can
how
be
hard.
so stubborn. My wife can be, you don't know, but Fiona can be so blinking stubborn.
Yeah, but that's
Oh,
not
not
necessarily
you,
a
though.
bad thing.
No.
no, not you.
I'm always the first to apologize if we have a row. I'm always the first to apologize, which means I've been defeated every time. Every flipping time.
You're probably wrong every time.
No, I'm not.
She's probably right.
In fact, statistics would show that
You'd be right at least half the
I'm
time.
right at least half the time.
If you actually knew how hard marriage was at 20, would anybody get married?
No, yes, they would. Yes, they would. But they should go. Yes, they would. To some degree, they would. But they would go in if they went in with more realistic expectations. First of all, if they knew there was going to be struggle and conflict and how ignorant their spouse was going to be and how unhappy they were.
Speak for yourself.
Sorry, they would reach out sooner when they're struggling.
Yeah.
Often, when people finally reach out, there's so much carnage and hurt that it's almost impossible to talk about it. If you very quickly are like, okay, this is not what I thought. This is a disaster. What is happening here? And there again, some couples don't have that. I mean, I'm paintbrushing now, but it was unique. I brought it up. I was at a fundraiser
I'm just listening to you digging holes.
No, I'm not digging holes.
Okay,
I will not back down from this conversation. I've said to those guys too, I said, I've spent the bulk of my, caring for people has been people that are struggling in their marriage. Marriage is hard. Even people that both want to be married, sin just makes it really difficult.
Avoiding your own struggles.
Avoiding my own. No, I mean, I will admit, I've been to counseling. I went to counseling long before I helped anybody else get to counseling. Like I'm not, and I'll go again. I just think you see it when I heard these guys railing about what they expected, who they thought they were going to marry, I'm like, people spend too much time watching shows on Netflix, man.
Well, enough talking about gambling. Let's move on.
Is marriage gambling?
I think at the beginning, like it's a gamble. Like Fiona committed her whole life to somebody like me. That's a gamble.
That is a big gamble.
That's a huge gamble.
The chips are
right?
still on the table,
Especially,
and she's
was
scared
just
to flip the
trusting,
cards
like
up.
Conversion, essentially. Like
Did she flirt and convert?
No. Like I was when she met me, I was converted, but she knew my story. Oh, probably
6 minutes.
How when did I get saved? 23? I don't know. I was probably saved for like 5 years or something like that.
Me and Nicole didn't fight for like the 6 years, first 7 years we were married.
Did you ever talk or
No.
Okay.
But she gambled on me. Fiona did, right? Like she didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure my in-laws were pleased with her decision at the beginning. Right? Like they just hear, who's this guy that he's got this testimony where he used to be a drug addict and now you're marrying him. We don't know. She was from Australia. Like
that's wild.
It was a gamble. So I think in a lot of cases.
Well, again, brings us into our topic that we paused on last week.
Gambling.
Arranged marriages. You for arranged marriages? You want to pick a wife for your son?
No.
Why not?
I don't want. First of all, I don't want to get in that line of business at all. Like I don't want to meddle in.
You don't want to be responsible?
I don't want to be picking other people's.
Why not?
You're gonna pick a way better person they're gonna pick. You have like 25 years more experience.
Yeah, and you know your kids better than they know themselves.
No,
Someone at 18 doesn't.
Look, I'm not dissing the culture that
Sounds like you
upholds
are. Your face sure did.
I'm not. I'm just saying I like the falling in love with a woman or man and figuring out that.
What does falling in love mean?
It's
like,
learning
why
to
would
love.
You say it? Yeah, whatever.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're such a romantic.
I can't help it. There's nothing wrong with being a romantic. Like
it's mostly ironic because I will say whenever I hang out with you, I do see, and you and your wife, I don't see any romance.
No,
what are you talking about?
No.
Mostly you just trying to convince her in a public setting that you're still right.
Yeah.
And her being gracious and just letting you preach and rant.
Romantic.
Are you?
When's the last time you did something romantic?
Just a little while ago.
A year or two ago. Speaking of that, guys.
Are you?
Well, this is a real problem in my marriage.
You were when you
Yes, when I was dating, up until I got, and it was actually very hurtful.
Deal
for my
done,
wife.
move on.
Yeah, next thing. I wrote poetry. Marie had a book of poetry.
Did you really?
Yeah, and beautiful poems. I mean, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, well, very weird. Probably creepy.
Can you bring some?
Yeah, I could read them out. It'd be mortifying.
You got I did not.
I will find.
Did you know that about?
It's
Gary,
big too, guys. It's 3 inches thick of
Nice.
books, and I used to love Bomber. It's concerning now in hindsight.
Do you have a favorite poet?
No, I don't. It was more
Robert
just
Frost,
Yeah,
hands down.
Yeah,
Really?
Beautiful guy.
yeah.
Amazing poems.
2 roads.
Okay.
Anyways,
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
what I was gonna say was just the idea of like, even listening to these guys. It's just this idea of like they're like. Marriage is obviously you're supposed to be romancing your spouse all the time and caring for her, but life happens, and I think
It's exhaustive.
it's exhausting.
Romancing all the time.
It's exhausting.
Oh man. and still have a full-time job, you couldn't do it.
You couldn't do both.
No way.
It is sanctifying.
Yeah, I always my motto has always been, hey, marriage is meant to make you holy, not happy, and true happiness or contentment will come as a byproduct of holiness. So it's like if you are perpetually laying down your life for your spouse in a caring way, which you do in the little things, not the big things.
I mean, I can't. I have to say, I found marriage so far, pretty easy.
For you, should we ask her?
Yeah, we just need to get Fiona on.
You can ask her too if you want, but and she makes me happy. Like, I'm sorry.
This is priceless.
You're pretty sanctified then. Obviously.
No,
Yeah.
it's got no. You are making this.
What's been the hardest part of your marriage, Matt? What's been the hardest thing in your marriage that you've had to do?
I think in the beginning stages, the hardest part of my marriage was learning to be a part of a different family. In-laws
Okay.
were the hardest part.
What's the hardest part now?
The hardest part now, probably learning to be gracious about Fiona's excessive need to control everything.
Okay. Who's more controlling, you or her?
Come on.
What do you mean, come on?
Fiona.
No, I'm
Fiona's
asking
more,
a question.
Fiona's more controlling, but if she didn't control things, our life would be in complete disarray.
Okay. So that's more honest.
I can't.
That's fair.
I mean, I can't even read a spreadsheet. It's just my eyes cross over. Whereas
So you don't
we
schedule
went on
things.
a 3-week holiday one time. And we all got up, got the kids out in the van at 4 a.m. in the morning, and it was a 3-day drive to get to Queensland. We were in Australia, and I got into the van, and we threw all luggage in the back, and Fiona was like, "Okay, we got to go, because we got to get here at this time." And before I started the van, I looked at her, I was like, "Where are we going?" And she looks at me with like deadpan look in her eyes. She was just like, "You idiot! We are going on a 3-week holiday, and you have no idea." She planned everything, right?
That's how Marie is too in my life, to be fair.
But if she didn't, we never would have gone.
We wouldn't leave. No, that's fair. We are the same way.
Nice.
My wife's the same.
Is your wife not planning
I
the
love
trip?
my wife.
No, my wife's not planning.
Not planning the trip. Different personality.
Yeah,
You'd be more the planner.
Yeah, otherwise there's no trip happening.
Is that a Dutch thing? The man would just do it?
No, definitely not.
Well, I'm just wondering. Like, I don't know. You guys throw some weird stuff in the conversation.
Screws Matt right up every time you hear the theological point about something, and
seriously,
just doesn't even know if it's a joke or it's serious sometimes.
Yeah, that's like I'm still learning, you guys, right?
Yeah, well, keep learning. Good luck. It's a black hole, man.
All right, okay.
Emphasis on black.
Anyway.
Okay, moving on here. What a disaster. Current situation of the world.
Kyle's all about the show notes. Like he's
what notes? Let me see those notes.
I know, it's really
funny. Make show notes every time. Good for you, buddy.
It's a shared note tab that me and Gary have. Throw stuff in. I'm just reading Gary's notes.
That's what my wife would do.
Quiet, please.
Shh. Okay.
Listen. The U.S. is preparing $2,000 stimulus checks. Is that to everybody?
Pardon?
So the stimulus checks that the U.S. is preparing, is those going to go to everyone? $2,000?
Yeah, it's tariff money. And it connects to another point I had, which I could talk about as well.
Japan is preparing a $110 billion stimulus package. China has approved a $1.4 trillion stimulus package. The Fed is officially ending QT on December 1st.
Tightening, yeah.
What is that?
Quantitative tightening.
Okay. The U.S. is issuing a $1.9 trillion in treasuries per year. In treasuries per year?
Yeah. New money. Money.
Canada is restarting its quantitative easing program. Global M2 money supply is at a record of 137 trillion, and the global rate cuts are at 320 plus over the last 24 months.
Oh my goodness! You know what that tells me?
In what world is there another wave of inflation not on its way?
What does it tell you, man?
Inflation.
What does it tell you, man?
All of that, what you just said. That's the first time I heard it. Global financial collapse.
I don't know how it's not like you see.
How is it possible? That is debt.
Yeah.
You're talking trillions, in excess of trillions in debt. That's just debt.
Yeah, but even the U.S. stock market right now, Nvidia is like over 10% of the whole stock market. Like how does that? That's not. It's insane.
I listened to
That is nuts. I've not heard that. Like, that's crazy.
Those are real numbers.
You're
The other
basically
day-
putting more air in a balloon that's
Yeah.
about to pop.
it is fascinating. I watched the other day.
That pop is going to be so catastrophic.
It'll be global. Like, it'll make 2008 look like
It'll make 1930s
snowflake.
look like a snowflake too. Yeah, it's going to be insane.
You know what's going to keep me going? My darling wife. She'll
Salvation-
have everything
Salvation
organized.
Army government money.
No.
No government money.
No. That'll all be gone too.
Yeah, that'll be on too. But the tithes and offerings will still
Seriously.
keep coming. You'll get paid. You'll be fine, man.
I'm being serious. I'm not worried about it.
No.
But I am being serious. Like, that's debt upon debt upon debt to that
It's really
scale.
weird.
Okay, well, so you put the note.
I
in there.
put it in there. I watched a documentary recently on Nortel Networks, which older listeners of the podcast would recognize. It was a telecom company that went broke in the early 2000s. It was part of the dot-com bubble.
Mhm.
And it's just fascinating studying history.
We're in the middle of a recording here.
We have a
Someone
guest in
came
the
in.
visitor.
There's some dude here.
Yeah, it's important. Probably wants to be on the
Oh, he
podcast.
just left. He just
Okay.
left. I don't know who it was. He looked Dutch.
Only Dutch people come here. You're the only non-Dutch guy that's allowed in this house.
I'm honored.
Nortel.
But Nortel Networks,
What is
fascinating.
Nortel Networks?
It was a telecommunications company.
I remember.
Oh yeah,
that.
and they screwed a whole bunch of people. Right? It was
Well,
all fake,
everybody.
fake
No,
accounting.
it was when you say screwed a bunch of people. Yeah, there was some shisterism going on for sure. No different than probably similar to Enron and other companies
Yeah.
that have done similar things. But it was more that it was a darling company, and it was similar to like
a
AI
darling company?
companies. Well, companies like Nvidia or companies like that. And what's fascinating
What is the
about
phrase? A darling company.
Like, they were getting all kinds of incentives and stuff like that.
No, and they were just a stock pick favorite, like
Oh,
you know.
okay.
And then similar, your comment was fascinating that you just said what percentage of the S&P 500. Like if you go back in the history of time and you look at any company that becomes an anomaly, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because other companies that are investing, like the Ontario Pension Fund and the Canadian Pension Fund, they have to by the parameters that they've set up have to hold a certain amount of these stocks in their portfolio, right? And of course, these are people's pensions, and eventually people's pensions are built up on quote unquote, bubble companies, right? Which can be pretty catastrophic. So it's fascinating.
It happens all the time. Like,
It does. If you looked at the stock market now, and I mean, these stats are out there everywhere, and people that are, bulls in the market would say, this time is different, and AI is going to change things, and the world is changing. And to some extent, I would agree with it in the sense that there's being so much new money printed out of thin air now
it's ridiculous.
that theoretically things probably are different this time. But they would say, but the response would be, if you look at the stats, based on where we are at in a trajectory of stock prices and companies and valuations, being 23 times earnings, which is insane. We're basically due to have a decade of literally zero growth. Like if you looked at 2000,
I think it's
2000 in particular and 1930 were worse. They were worse than 2008.
I think it's
2008 was
worse
bad
now
too.
though, Gary, because
Why do you think it's worse?
because fiat currencies have been so devalued because they're underpinned by nothing.
Yeah, but they're all equally connected to each other. So why do you think that matters then?
Well, so in like the 2000 in the early 1900s when the stocks crashed, you still had the stock market crashed, but there was faith in government bonds. Like you still had, but that's gone now. So people could retreat into the safety of a safe country, i.e. Britain, United States, or whatever.
We don't buy the bonds. Yeah.
We don't have that now because these safe nations, these safe governments, their bonds are as worthless as
Their currency.
Right. They're as worthless as currency, which is could quickly fall to nothing, just like the stocks. So, for example, you got the United States claiming now they're 40 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
So and their currency is underpinned no longer by anything, right? Except oil and
their military.
how I don't understand. But you mean their military strength?
Yes.
Yeah.
Their
Okay.
military strength.
But it's still nothing to have there's still nothing to be confident in with regards to the investments of that nation. So if you have the dollar that is, even though it's powered by or lifted up by a military that's strong, if there's nothing at all upholding that dollar, then eventually people are going to want something for it.
Well, they are. If you look at, and it's interesting, even you look at the Japanese bond right? And
Yeah.
Japan's been printing money longer than any other country.
Yeah.
Doing insane stimulus.
And
People are starting to question
they're a
those
lending
government bonds.
they're a lending
They're a
economy
lending
too.
economy,
Yeah.
and they're an aging population, right? Which I would say in North America, outside of immigration, is totally our issue too. Like we do not reproduce at a healthy enough rate to really have sustainable growth.
Have more
in our
kids.
country. Have more kids. Yeah. Elon Musk
However,
would say that.
the good excuse is it's really unaffordable to have a lot of kids.
I call BS. I disagree with that.
I don't know. In
disagree
Australia
with that.
years ago, they incentivized having babies, and it worked.
How did they do that?
They
They
basically
incentivize them here too.
how?
You get tax dollars for having kids.
There's not. Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't think it evens out. Like
What do you mean evens out?
Like, for example, when Australia did it, I think it was like 15 years ago or longer, or maybe
Yeah.
even 20 years ago, they basically said, so anything having to do with small children, the government would incentivize with like payments. So you would get a lump sum bonus. Childcare became free or whatever for X amount of time that the kids were in childcare. And they had a population boom. So now that's paying off 20 years later. However, like, I don't think there's anything like that to incentivize having many kids here.
Kind of like Poland's new law for families with 2 or more kids. They get like a big tax break now too.
Yeah, they do. That was insane. Did I put what the tax break was or not even?
I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up a minute. Where in Canada though, Matt, people get like, and I don't know the exact number, but if you're a low income person, or if you're under $38,000, $40,000 a year here, for each person in a married couple, I'm thinking you get $500 to $600 a kid, which is like, it's not a huge amount, but it's substantial.
Yeah, but
would you not call that an incentive?
But then you're, or at least generally speaking,
Yeah.
the assumption would be that the parents aren't working.
Yeah, but one of them shouldn't anyway. So I would disagree with that idea of paying for daycare. I don't think we want to create a society where you're
I don't think
encouraging both people to work. It's
don't
totally
think you
fine
need-
if they do, but I
don't think you need to create a society where both people are working or where you're paying for all kinds of things. But I think if you have a frame of time to just, catapult something from 0 to 5, I think it's wise to say, like, all right, for the next 5 years, if you have kids, this will be advantageous for the young family. That's, I think.
Having said that, there again, I don't know the exact number, but daycare is heavily subsidized right now in BC. And from what I understand, it's pretty affordable if you decide to work.
Anyway, this is what Poland's doing.
Yeah, it was an interesting...
Poland's president has signed a new law introducing 0 personal income tax for parents raising at least 2 children, a reform which aims to support families, increase household income, and boost economic activity. The bill presented by Karol Nawrocki in August removes the income tax obligation on families earning up to 32,000 euros, which is about 56,000 Canadian. So anything below that, you're not paying tax on.
If you have 2 or more
kids.
children.
Yeah.
Like,
Fascinating.
It works.
Fascinating.
Like, government incentives can work. They don't have to be permanent, but they can basically, if a young...
Yeah, once the kids are born, I mean, they're born.
Right.
Could repel the law.
Essentially,
after that.
I mean, like, I know, like, you get, like, what, $600 a month?
That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like you're relatively incentivized. I feel like it's more people...
Especially if you have
I'm
10
going to say
kids.
this carefully. There are people that are quite selfish. That would be one reason why they wouldn't have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Another reason would just be literally they wouldn't think it's affordable. Now, that could be literally because they do not have the means. It could also be because they have an unrealistic expectation of what children need and expect, or what they expect for their children, for their life, right? I mean, some people would just be like, hey, if my kid can't play rep hockey and doesn't have the nicest things, then I don't want to have another kid, right? That would just be their standard, right? Whereas, like, for us, it's like, hey, are they eating? Like, are they clothed? Yes. Are they well loved? They're fine. Like, that's the standard, right? And like, in the community we live in, you literally run the Salvation Army. Everyone can eat. There's nobody starving in this community. Is that a fair statement? Or is that
I think...
No, it is a fair statement. I don't have to ask you.
You might think, yeah, it could be fair, but I think more people are struggling than you think in this city.
Struggling what way?
There's no limit to the amount of places you can eat and go get a meal.
That's not true. So, for example, we feed 120 people a day.
Okay.
But we can't feed 200.
Are there people waiting outside that don't get to eat?
Sometimes.
Very rarely.
That don't get to eat? Never. Because we would go out of our way to do it. But
that's what I'm trying to say.
If there was 90 people there, it would be a lot harder to accommodate. So we're basically, we plan with projections, like what this is going to look like.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
I do.
I did
We
hear
live
that.
in a community where like there's so many churches and so many people willing to help you. You have to put some effort in, right? But
And you have to be willing to receive help, which is the biggest thing.
Gary, I got news for you.
Yeah.
Like, there's, like you just, a lot of the places that you think someone could go to for practical help wouldn't find practical help in some of those places.
okay.
In fact, we get phone calls from organizations and, places where, like you just listed, saying, oh, this person, this family's here. What can we send them to you? We're not going to help them, but you should. So, of course, the Salvation Army will never...
Okay.
Now I'm talking about the Salvation Army. I didn't really want to.
You didn't want to... Anyways, I looked at it
Anyway.
like last night, somebody came out of our church and I just, it was a single mom and lots of stuff, food. I'm just thinking in our community, anyone that I went to, if even on Facebook, I'll just go to the social media site. You go to our local page and somebody posts, hey, I'm a single mom, rents due this day. I don't have any money for groceries. There's every single post is filled with 15 to 20 people. Hey, I'll cover you. Like at the end of the day, hard times bring out a lot of times the best in people, right? And
yes,
so I find it very hard to fathom that in the wealth we have in our community where someone's going to go without. Now I'm sure they do.
There is a lot of people that are like, even just like nurses and stuff like that, that are don't own real estate and that are now like sleeping in their vehicles. Like the amount of the poverty.
That
is
kind of stuff is
way
happening
up.
more than you think in Chilliwack.
Yeah. And I know Ruth and Naomi's last week, I know a guy that does the talk there once in a while, and he said it's like getting wildly busy, like in the amount of people that are going in there. So I do think it's getting worse and worse.
And people are getting younger and younger on the street.
And another thing I will agree with is that the gap between the haves and the have-nots is widening very quickly.
Yes.
The middle, the healthy middle is completely depleting.
It's being hollowed out.
I was at the Hungry for Life auction with you there, Matt, the other night, and I was talking to a guy that runs a pretty large company in Abbotsford, manufacturing, does all his sales in the U.S. pretty much, the bulk of his sales. And that's what made me think of even the tariff, the $2,000 tariff money that Trump's handing out, because this guy's paying the tariff. And like he's just getting crushed. It was 25% on aluminum. He's selling all aluminum siding. Pretty unique business. Sells like a high-end product for commercial buildings predominantly and residential. And he was just saying too, like everybody's well paid at his plant, but a lot of these people in Abbotsford now, this well-paid people, they are not buying a house. Which I mean, it makes sense, right? Yeah. A house is still $800-900 grand. Like that's an insane amount of money, right? So,
it is here.
One of the things that we see,
it is in Chilliwack. Sorry, I should preface that.
I want to say too, Chilliwack is an incredibly generous city. Incredibly generous,
okay. As opposed to other cities you've been in, or okay,
yeah. So Chilliwack is stellar in comparison to many other places.
Okay.
So,
it's fascinating too, and this is something that our pastor has talked about even from the pulpit, but Christians get a bad rap for a lot of reasons and judged pretty harshly. But Christians are still the most generous people in the world. They're still the most caring.
Globally.
They're people that understand the gospel and understand grace. Don't need to cling too tightly to any material, even though we're all human beings and obviously do that. It's pretty cool to see. It's encouraging to hear that from you, who's running a nonprofit.
Okay, Galatians 1. Another note you put in there, Gary. You want to talk about Galatians 1?
I just wanted to read it, I think.
The whole chapter?
Yeah, the whole chapter would be good for us. It's going to be a lot more edifying. You have it right in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay,
this letter is from Paul, an apostle. I was not appointed by any group of people or any human authority, but by Jesus himself and by God the Father who raised Jesus from the dead. All the brothers and sisters here join me in sending this letter to the churches of Galatia. May God the Father and our Lord Jesus give you grace and peace. Jesus gave his life for our sins, just as God our Father planned, in order to rescue us from the evil world in which we live. All give glory to God forever. Amen. I am shocked that you are turning away so soon from God, who called you to himself through the loving mercy of Christ. You are following a different way that pretends to be the good news, but is not the good news at all. You are being fooled by those who deliberately twist the truth concerning Christ. Let God's curse fall on anyone, including us or even an angel from heaven who preaches a different kind of good news than the one we preach to you. I say again what we have said before. If anyone preaches any other good news than the one you welcomed, let that person be cursed. Obviously, I'm not trying to win the approval of people, but of God. If pleasing people were my goal, I would not be Christ's servant.
That's it.
I would sell hay instead or something.
No.
Dear brothers,
that was it. That was it. That's what made me, because it came up in the text yesterday by the professor that preached at
Gary
our church.
Bashirs.
Yeah. who's Kyle?
I'm surprised that you guys are allowed to read that.
Why?
Yeah, why are you surprised, Matt?
I didn't. Can a person turn away?
Okay, Gary, finish your thought.
It was interesting to me, and it was, I guess, it just really struck me when he read it yesterday. I was reading the rest of the chapter. He read it in actually talking about comparing the Old Testament to the New Testament, and basically just, that somebody would be cursed, or that, wishing poorly on someone, because he talked about how, Jesus had turned the other cheek, and how we wouldn't wish ill on anyone, and people talk about, how we're supposed to live as Christians in light of what Jesus taught. And then he talks about how Paul teaches this in Galatians 1. And Jesus did something similar. He did something similar.
You brood of vipers.
Yeah. Yeah, he
You
spoke
won't
very
lift a finger.
harshly to the religious leaders. And I just found it fascinating.
Religious leaders.
Yeah.
Guys.
Not all of them were religious.
No?
Well, they were just leaders.
Okay, fair enough. Some were just Jewish leaders or whatever. Fair enough. And I guess even for us to understand that in the context of the history would probably be challenging. But I just thought it was super interesting where it's like, this is about like preaching a false gospel, and what is a false gospel. And I thought a lot about even our conversation last week. We went on a rail. Could just be the train going by. That's where the table's shaking. But I was just thinking in relation to our conversation last week, just about, hey, like you think about all the doctrine and the things that we talk about, and obviously it matters. But I think, man, like we talked, I don't know if we spoke as boldly as to say, hey, a half gospel is a false gospel. But it's just this idea of like, hey, if you're skewering the Bible, if you're taking pieces, and you have if you have an agenda, and you come into every sermon as a preacher, and you have an agenda of kind of how you're going to try, quote unquote, twist, whatever. Twisting's not the right word, because you're not intentionally doing that, but you kind of have your view of, rather than just really reading the text and just flushing this out in light of all the other texts, not comparing to old books, not comparing to confessions and all these things, but just having the Bible, searching truth in Scripture by using other Scripture to kind of pick that apart. And it just made me think, man, there's a stern warning here, for us as people, if we're skewering that, right? And I just thought it was fascinating, because part of me was like, hey, we went on a big long rant last week, and maybe we went off in the weeds a bit, but it was just kind of comparing. We were just kind of comparing where we stood on, how the gospel could be presented or who it could be presented, which is just one piece of it. But like the stuff does matter. Like it matters in obviously the most in light of eternity, but it was just interesting to.
Are you talking about a conversation we had at the end?
Yeah.
That wasn't recorded?
Yeah, but it wasn't posted?
Recorded. Yeah, it'll be posted too.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
it was a hard word. It was a hard word, but I think it was a true, like I can't even remember exactly what we said. The words that you spoke, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, I think
You think you were right?
the third point of tulip. That's what we're talking about.
that
Limited atonement.
Yeah, limited.
Yeah, I think it's garbage. Anyway, that's just me.
Okay.
Could be wrong. When we get to heaven, the
We'll
Lord
know
may
that.
say, Matt.
When we all get to heaven. That was
What
a
a day
bad song growing up. Bad song.
What? Anyway, on that.
How inclusive is that? You don't know if we're all going to get to heaven.
Oh my goodness. You can still sing the song.
Yeah, which is interesting about that, because if you read all the other songs that we would have sang as kids, a lot of them people shouldn't have been singing either.
How love I thy law.
Yeah.
Just like,
No, you do not. No, you do not. Stop singing.
It is my meditation all the day. It's
Stop.
Like, no one would sing.
This is not short-circuiting again.
Twitch.
When
He
I was a
Matt,
kid,
he
man,
listens to the first thing you say, and then he confirms his thought. And
Yeah,
gets
he
the rest
does.
you say.
But we all
when I
do
was a
that.
kid, we
all
sang
judge
stuff
quickly.
like, this little light of mine.
Yeah.
We didn't get into like, oh, how I love thy law.
Well, no. Yeah.
Well, okay, Matt. Sorry.
It's okay to love the law. What's wrong with that?
Apparently something, because you didn't sing it as a kid. And
I just didn't know it was a song.
No, I
Who
can sing
sings
it.
it?
I'll sing it to you later. I think it's from one of the Psalms.
Anyway, you brought that verse up because...
I already said my piece.
Okay.
Sorry if it wasn't deep enough for you, Matt.
No, it was deep. I just thought you ended it
How
too
did you
soon.
find the Hungry for Life fundraiser?
I thought it was beautiful, actually. I think the stories that the gentleman told about being in Ukraine at the front line and stuff,
Okay.
I thought it was really beautiful. I hope they do really well for themselves. Did they actually make their mark? They wanted
I don't know.
250 grand, was it?
I don't know.
Yeah. I love for, and what I appreciated most about those guys they, they stayed on point, but the gospel.
What is Hungry for Life anyway?
Hungry for Life, I don't want to butcher it, but they started as a charity that was giving food at first, right? But it's developed a lot over the years. I don't know a ton about
facilitate, They facilitate. They are basically the arm between the local church here in North America.
That's right.
And organizations that are already working on the ground in foreign countries.
Right.
So they would partner. They would, if you had.
But they started with just food.
That I'm not sure of. I should know that because I've been a part of the journey.
I thought it was. They started, but now they're into everything.
So one of the things that they do
education
is they raise money for operating costs separately, which is what this fundraiser was. And so, your typical World Vision or anything else, they just collect money for your child. And then from that amount that you pay, they are paying their bills.
Gary knows his stuff.
And just because
I'm collecting for the operating costs. So seriously curious.co/
is very,
donate.
It's hard to get charitable status.
It's easier than you think.
Really?
Yeah. I'm planning on starting a charity as well.
You're a charity.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
What's it going to be called?
The Gary Baars charity.
Same joke.
Good for you, pal.
Yeah, same joke. I just said it for Matt because it gets Matt going.
You should totally do it.
Yeah. What should I support with the charity?
Conscription.
Yeah. Start a military. You know what I would like to start is a military company.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Kyle's had enough of this.
That's how he is. We're at time.
What time is it?
There is no time limit.
We're like at an hour.
Already?
Trust me, anyone that...
Gary said something just a little while ago about Galatians. It's the first meaty thing we've said the whole time.
Okay, what other meat you got?
I didn't really bring an agenda.
Okay, well then don't complain about not having meat.
Man. All right.
It's Kyle's personality shining through here.
Didn't think we were...
Yeah, this is
participating in
Stalin's This is
Russia.
how his family holidays are that he plans to. Well, we drove to Hope. We're going back home now. It's been an hour.
Here,
I've been gone. We've seen it. We gotta go.
Okay.
Yeah, well, sounds like a fun holiday.
Start Salvation Army tomorrow. Talk about that. Is that meaty enough?
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like
casual shifts?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll love it. Or you won't. There's not much middle ground. Like people come in and love that kind of work, which I did. That's how I started ministry, starting at homeless.
What do you think I'll learn? You said you learned a lot.
I did. I learned a ton, but I was there for 8 years.
What'd you learn?
I learned, honestly, truthfully, the biggest lesson was introspective. Like I learned how selfish I was.
Okay.
Like it totally changed my whole life, right? My outlook on everything. And I was well saved when I was working there, but...
What do you mean well saved? Like super saved or just saved?
Yeah, like super saved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
like really saved.
How do you know? What do you mean you learned how selfish you were?
Like I started to see that my priority in life was me. And I didn't see it before. I just like in little things, right? Like, for example, I would be asked to participate in a street ministry with a bunch of men that had no, they couldn't,
had no home.
They had no home. Well, more than that, like they couldn't read or they were just uneducated. And I was like, there were times when I'd just say, well, I had planned to go out to the movies with my friends. And I just said, no, I can't do it. But it was a lie, right? I could do it. But I was like, I don't want to give up my Friday night to go. So somebody challenged me on it. It was like, why don't you just actually sacrifice for this kind of ministry? And I started to see that the only reason that I didn't want to sacrifice is because I had to sacrifice from my own stuff, right?
Was that in Newfoundland?
No, in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah. So I loved it. I learned to love it, but yeah, I learned a ton. I also learned a ton about people. I didn't really understand compassion until I worked there. And changed my life. And that's when the Lord really put the calling to gospel ministry on my life. But that's dangerous because then you got to answer, right? So,
would you consider that quenching the spirit if you don't answer it?
Yep.
You would.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you and I had a very big discussion.
And grieving him.
Grieving the spirit.
If you don't answer the call to what? Be a pastor or anything?
No, just to obey. Like there's tons of work. I think we put calling in a tiny Western box and say, oh, you got to pastor a church, but God
could be calling you to something totally different.
Yeah, totally.
Still very weighty.
But it will always involve self-sacrifice.
He's for sure calling you to love your wife and your kids above everything else.
Whatever
you have.
Whatever he calls you to will require self-sacrifice. And if what you think God is calling you to doesn't require your self-sacrifice, it's not the Lord's calling. Period.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
That is a mic drop.
Yeah, because God doesn't like to compete with the flesh.
Okay. Well, sit with that, people. Thank you for listening. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
All right. Well, that was
Oh, he's just short circuiting it.
man.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Furious the Curious Show. If you were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would really help me and the show be able to grow, improve the production quality, be able to get more guests, hopefully create more shows as well. And so if you're open to doing that, there's a link in the description of the podcast here to do that, and that would be hugely appreciated. You can also subscribe to the show and follow it. That goes a long way as well. But either way, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.